So I want to show you this really beautiful display about how a hex head cap screw is made. It really goes through the entire process from a start to end, starting with this was probably some type of coil wire, really long length of wire, and then cut into segments so you can tell that's happening. I'll just set that there. And then we actually start to see what we call, talking about forming. In most cases, it's could be hot forging or cold forging. This one might be cold forging, but you can tell that something has happened here. That's a formation of the head. So basically think about blacksmithing and hammering. It's forming that shape. It's starting to really pound down onto the part itself, onto the wire. And then that's called upsetting. And then here you can tell, obviously, got a little transition to actual head. A width now here, and then a height of there. And also, marking is present in most dies, which is really helpful to understand what the strength of a part can be. In this case, this is a grade 8, so that's interesting. And then we get to this fella right here, which again, seeing the same evolution, but the difference is this transition. We can see that this is where eventually threads are going to be applied to, so you can tell there's angles here. And just to give you a quick look, we went from being longer length to shorter length and then longer again. Why is that? Well, partially it's because as we reduce the diameter, it's squeezing it out and pulling it that way, so it actually lengthens apart a little bit. Interesting back there. And then obviously the difference between these two is you can see we've got a better trimmed head. So really round here. Now we get the real features of a hex head. Put that down. Next step isn't as obvious right out of the gate, but here you can see a chamfer. So also a point is what it's called. See, this helps with the lead in for actually applying, when you apply torque to a screw, it's really helpful for the threads themselves, first lead threads. And then finally at the end here is when we have rolled threads. So great process just to get an understanding of what it takes to take something from raw wire all the way to finished product.